I'm a fan of Hazbin Hotel since about 2019 when the pilot came out. And I decided, you know what? I'm going to draw both Lucifer and Alastor from that show in the style of my soon-to-be released comic. This comic has been in production since, I want to say, mid last year of 2024. But I've always had the idea for this comic since, I want to say, 2020, 2019. It all started out as like a little doodle in my little psychology notebook because I wanted to draw a little Grim Reaper. And, well, I decided after trying to do the slice of life comic of it, I decided to make it a full-fledged story. And I had to develop an art style for it. Well, I didn't want to do like the full-on comic, like realistic comic style or anime style as some webtoons. I decided I wanted to do like a 1920s inspired people. So right now, this is what you're looking at. You're probably wondering what in the world are the shapes that I'm drawing these on. Well, I like to call my comic characters my little peanuts because that's how I make the body shape. And if you noticed in the video, some of the parts of the drawing are missing because for some reason my tablet decided not to record what I was doing in some parts, which sucks. My line art, I like to do a thicker outline and then thinner, like design-wise, inside of the drawing, as you can see. Of course, I had to use a stabilizer for my drawing because my hand shakes a bajillion times. And, well, I can't draw straight to save my life. If you ever see my sketchbook, you can see some of the outlining of it. It's just a little shaky. So why did I decide to draw Hazbin Hotel for showing you guys my comic style? Well, I like Hazbin Hotel. I like Hell of a Boss. I like anything that Busy Pop made. And I have to say, I did Lucifer first because he is my favorite character. I just love the, I want to say the dad figure, but he's also just kind of, I relate to him somewhat on a spiritual level because you can't tell me this man is autistic. You can't tell me this man is not autistic. I mean, have you seen the duck collection? He has to be, and that's going from, an autistic person myself. So I think I have a right to say what I believe is autistic or not. Of course, I also ship him with the next person who comes into the video, Alastor. And, well, I know Alastor's ace, but it doesn't mean that I can't ship Radio Apple. I love Radio Apple. I've been a huge shipper since Hell's Greatest Dad, Dad Beat Dad released on Prime. And hey, I love the enemies to lovers trope. Sue me for that. And here's the finished product. And now we're going on to Alastor. I've loved Alastor since the pilot, and he was just so, what's the word, cartoony, I would say, in the pilot. He's still cartoony in the show, don't get me wrong. But it's not as whimsical as like Willy Wonka-ish, which is weird considering Busy said that Lucifer was the one based off Willy Wonka. Yeah, he's also not as talk showy, I would say. But it doesn't mean I don't love his character. I love his character. He's just so... I love his sass. And I can't wait to get to know what's going to be happening in season 2. Like, I want to know who owns his soul, and I want to know, like, what is his deal? Like, what makes Alastor Alastor? And I also want to see more Lucifer and Alastor interactions because it looks like the hotel had them both on the same floor. And that just makes my shipper heart go beat, beat. Oh my goodness, I can't wait. And and before I shipped Radio Apple, I shipped Radio Dust, and that ship got me through the development hell that was going on for 4 years. Yeah. And I shipped them, and then as soon as episode 5 hit, I'm just like, okay, I like ya, but not as much as I like this one. And, well, seeing the comics of Alastor, it also makes me just want to make more comics of my OCs. And depending on how y'all react to this video, I might make a video just explaining some of my OCs from the comic I'm making. Basically, I want to say it's about a Grim Reaper who's, well, the original concept for my comic was it's a Grim Reaper who's socially awkward and he has to do his job while being socially awkward. And, well, I liked the concept and I made little snippets of it, but I also made it again. And this is the third time I remade it. It's just different stories, but this time I'm actually planning the story instead of like it being slice of life. Don't get me wrong, I like slice of life, but the more I drew it, the more I'm like, okay, what makes Steve Steve? Steve is the name of the main character of my comic, by the way. And eventually, I do want my comic to be like an animated pilot, but I have no idea what goes on in making an animated pilot. I have the bare minimum of animation because I took like one class of animation. But animation has always been a thing that I've been interested in ever since I was little, and Nickelodeon had these like meet the creators of your favorite shows like Butch Hartman, yada yada. And it showed like this one dude, he showed how to make the bouncing ball animation. And I would always do that on little packets of sticky notes. And there was one time when I was in middle school where I made a little a sticky note animation of me asking a dude out. I never showed it to the dude. You think I'm that confident? Hell no. But I showed my friends about it, and they're like, whoa, that's so cool. I always liked animation. Animation has just been cool. But do I have the skills to make a full-ass animated pilot? No. But do I want to? Eventually, yeah. And who knows, maybe if Spindlehorse decides to branch out and make other shows, then maybe I could put. But then again, that's just hopeful thinking. But I really do want to meet Fizzy and all that. Her Die Young music videos actually what made me start to think more about animation as like a career path. I mean, I never actually continued with animation besides that one class because I don't have any money. I mean, I have money now, but not then. And I really don't feel like going to an art school just to learn. I mean, I could go to another school, but again, I don't want to be in debt that much. So, I think right now the best option for me is just to learn how to animate via, the good old YouTube. And, I mean, that's basically how I learned in my first class. That's basically what my teacher showed us. She's like, here's some video tutorials on how to do this. And then just let us do. I was able to finish that class within 2 weeks. And if my memory serves me correct, it was... I don't remember. I think it was an 8-week class. So I was mostly bored. I would just start working on my final project for that class. It wasn't a good one, I can tell you that much. And I probably still I don't even know where I put that video at. But I'm not uploading it. Yeah, it was that bad. I mean, not animation-wise, it's just I didn't like it. And if I had to choose to do it all over again, I would. But I still like doing little animations here and there. If you've seen some of my animatics that I've posted, there's a little bit of animation. Not a lot, not polished or anything. And, well, that's actually why I made my little peanut people the way they were, to make them both easier to draw for me and easier to animate. Because, well, they're based on the 1920s style of animation. And if you've seen them, 1920s animation is really bouncy and excitable. I want to say like whimsical. Honestly, I'm tempted just to draw one of my comic characters bouncing like that, but I really have to find the inspiration to do that. You know how long it took me to get this video done? Well, I always plan on making a video, I just haven't really decided to put any effort into making it until now. But if you guys want to see what my comic looks like, just tell me in the comments and I will. And here's Alastor. If you guys want to see any more drawings like from the has been cast in my comic style, just let me know as well. Alright. I think that's all. And have a good day, my little nerdlings.